Hi everyone, it is Wanda from the Armchair Cat Advocate, and this is the second first impression review of new litter varieties that I am trying. And this one is the Exquisicat Natural Paper Crumble. Now this one is... Fury, can you not? Let's not knock everything over. So this one is, actually, I'm liking this one a lot better than I am the Pine Crumble. The Pine Crumble has this has no odor whatsoever. It is much softer. It does have some of these big pieces, but I think these will, these kind of break apart. But really, this just feels much softer. The texture just feels much better. And he's trying to get into those boxes, and I have boxes there that they play in. He's trying to get into it, and I'm interrupting his routine, I guess. But this one has more absorbent than clay litter, dust free, soft paws. I mean, I don't see them as much dust. I see more dust in the pine cobble than I do in this one. There's no odor whatsoever, which I love because I don't like scented. I don't like scented litters. It's when I'm pulling it up, I don't. My hand isn't coming away dusty like it was with the pine cobble. Let me see what it says in the back here. I do think it says on the back. It does have, yes, it has baking, oops, I'm sorry. It has baking soda for maximum odor control, soft on paws, post-consumer recycled paper, dust-free, and more absorbent than clay. So this one might work out a little bit better. Now, they did say, again, people in the review section were saying that, this clumps too. It doesn't say that it's clumping, but they said that it clumps. You just have to wait a little bit for it to clump. So we'll see if it does clump. But let me pull this over here for a moment. And let's look at... Okay, so I have some in here. I have my water. Let's see what happens when we add water to this. Let's see if anything magical happens. Let's give it a few minutes here and see. Now see, that isn't breaking apart like the pine litter is. And actually that seems to be holding the moisture in. So it might be easier to, and this is just water in case anybody has any weird ideas, because it's wild west out there. So and I think it's not, it does seem to be holding it together. I don't know if it's actually clumping, but it's not falling apart. And it's not as messy. Now these are falling apart a little bit, but it's not as messy as the pine pellets. I don't know. It's much. I'm really excited to try this one. I think I'm going to put this one. I'm going to go put this in the big box. I don't see that this is really clumping either, because it doesn't seem like it's clumping. I don't think this is going to be clumping either. I don't know We'll see once it gets into the litter box, but right now, I don't see that it's forming any clumps. It's not really sticking, you know, it's not really sticking together. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't really see that it's, I don't think this is going to be clumping either. I mean, you know, it does hold together better than the pine litter. It does. I mean, it's much easier to scoop it. You might be able, maybe it doesn't hard clump, but it is kind of a loose clump there that it looks like you can probably scoop that much easier and kind of contain the wet part and keep kind of the wet part all together versus the pine, where the pine, it just breaks apart and becomes sawdust, and there's no way that you can scoop it all up together. You have to just throw it all out, you know. So because I'm kind of at the end with the, because periodically I do dump my grass seed litter and put in fresh, and I'm kind of getting towards the end of the cycle for that. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add this to the old pine litter, because I'm going to be or old grass seed litter, because I'm going to be dumping that soon anyway, and we'll just see how this works. And then I'm going to be getting some fresh pine litter, or I'm sorry, grass seed litter. But I mean, it's not falling really. It's not falling apart like the pine litter is. The pine litter just goes down to sawdust. And this is actually, you know, it's not a clump, it's not a hard clump, but it is holding together that you could theoretically scoop that. Especially if you're somebody like myself that scoops several times a day, and you try to scoop pretty much whenever the cats go. It's very soft. I mean, it's very, very soft compared to the pine litter. I actually like this. I'm glad, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to go out and buy a big bag of the pine litter, because then I've been stuck with it. I mean, I'm sure I could find somebody. I have friends that have cats, and I'm sure somebody would take it, but it's just, I would have to go into Tractor Supply, gone into the store, lifted 40 pounds, put it in the cart, take it back out to the car, drive it back to the apartment, and then drag it up 2 flights of stairs just to find out that, yeah, I don't like it. So this way, PetSmart just dropped it off. I got 25% off of it. You know, it wasn't that I paid a couple of bucks. It'll be usable because, like I said, I'm going to be changing out my grass seed litter boxes anyway. So, yeah, we'll just do that. But I'm kind of really liking this. And I'm going to see how the cats feel about it. In fact, I might just fill like just one box with it and see if they'll use it without mixing it in anything, just to see how it works. So that's my first impression of the PetSmart Exquisicat paper crumbles. And I'll be giving you an update once we put it in action and the cats get a chance to try it out and see how they like it. So thanks for watching, everyone. Bye for meow.